Hello and welcome to the Ireland Rugby Social. Gavin Andrews, Mike McCarthy. Conor Murray has been lost in the crowd. At some point he may arrive, but it's a special day, a special win for Ireland, a record-breaking day. You can of course subscribe via BBC Sounds. We'd love to get your subscriptions for the Ireland Rugby Social. We're here for the whole Six Nations and it is now wide open because Ireland have produced one of the great days, one of the great performances, Mike.
Oh, just wow, what a display. I don't think anyone's expecting it, and I know the secret. They've watched the Ireland legends versus England legends at the Twickenham Stoop last night, and that has given them the foundation for this performance. But yeah, just oh my gosh, it was an incredible performance. All the injuries, the start against France round one where, you know, it's two complete ends of this spectrum. That performance against France in the first half and that performance today against England at Twickenham. All the talk coming into it was how are England going to get back on the horse and go for a first championship since 2020, how physical England were going to be at home, and Ireland turned up and I think they absolutely completely shocked England with their physicality. Andy Farrell questioned the intent after that France game, and you know, we saw some improvement against the physical Italy side, but they turned up today with a ruthlessness, an intent, a physicality, a nastiness, a togetherness. They hunted everything down. How you choose a player of the match from that performance, you know, just so many names jump out of the starting team sheet, and you know, they just absolutely controlled every aspect, every department. The only one area where England were on top was at scrum time.
No one gave them a chance, and England had their moments in that first half, but it was one-way traffic and some huge individual displays. We'll work our way through them. I don't know how they did pick a man of the match, but let's start with Stuart McCloskey because there were some unreal moments from him. He's had a great tournament. Incredible tournament,
and I'm still in shock from that the kick through thing. And Marcus Smith made the line break, and I was like, oh, Marcus Smith is in here, and I cannot believe how McCloskey made up that distance. He's a big man, 6'4", 6'5", big frame. He's emptied the tank the whole game, and to chase down Marcus Smith with his speed and X factor, I was in absolute shock that he made that tackle. But yeah, he was a beast. The Ulster contingent, Timoney coming off the bench, Balakoon, both sides of the ledger, in attack, in a defence, at the breakdown, that turnover at the breakdown. Like every player was at an 8, 9 or 10 level. You know, the previous two games against France and Italy, you know, you're probably saying players are at kind of a 5, 6, maybe a max of 7. Across the board, they delivered. How Andy Farrell and the rest of the coaching staff got them to that emotional level.
Here he is! Here he comes,
it's my
Conor
boy,
Murray. We are on. You just got to launch into it, my friend. Pick up a mic.
How are the boys?
We're a couple of minutes in. Get that mic close. We're a couple of minutes in.
I like
the middle, or you okay?
No, you're the main man. You're the main man.
Right, give us your impressions. Crazy this side of the stadium. You were on the far side. What was it like?
It was unbelievable, wasn't it? They showed up properly, and I had optimism. You didn't.
I know. I'm sorry.
You owe me a few quid. No, they were so good, like relentless. England couldn't breathe. Like they never gave them a chance to get into the game, and got a couple of scores, but like, what a relief, and I think a springboard for them to go on now. And they shut a few people up today, a lot of people up at home, and yeah, it was brilliant, amazing.
You missed what I said at the start.
What did you say?
I think the boys must have been in camp watching the Ireland legends versus England legends last night at the Twickenham Stoop.
Did you play?
I was water boy. I was keeping the boys hydrated.
Yeah, that's a very important role. Very important role.
And the hamstrings are a bit tight today, but yeah, we've just gone through, like, what an incredible performance. They turned up and bullied England at home at HQ. The intent, the physicality, like I said, the edge, the nastiness was phenomenal.
The emotion was up there, wasn't it?
Yeah, like we expected a reaction, and like the way they came out in the first half, and you could see early doors the way they were carrying ball and like the intent. Andy, I know that word is floating around a lot since Andy said it, but like they were so up for it. I'm probably still buzzing from the win, but I can't think of any player who played poorly. They were all unbelievable today.
What about Jameson Gibson Park? He was
class. I called it after a few of his first moments that he'd get man of the match. Genuinely called it after about 20-25 minutes, and he was just kept things quick, what he does best, like, and took his opportunity. Tyburn unbelievably sharp to give him the ball quite quickly for that try, and everything flowed off that. Yeah, it was brilliant.
I was loving the battle with Van der Fleer versus Curry, because Van der Fleer obviously left out last week of the 23, Mr. Consistent, never has a bad game.
Yeah.
He, by his own standards, he was poor against France. He turned up today. That battle for the Lions jersey that went on between him and Curry, he was completely dominant today. Everything, the work rate, the relentlessness, everything he brought, running hard lines, back against the grain, making line breaks, turnovers, just incredible performance from him.
It looked like a bunch of boys answering a few critics, would that be fair?
Yeah, 100%. And like, you look at Jack Crowley, who missed 2 kicks, but like kicked everything else and was again solid, solid, and did his job so well, and like drove the bus really well. And a few lads like Josh, you talk about Josh as well, who was dropped last week out at 23, and he's World Player of the Year a few years ago, goes away and probably has a little think to himself, right, I get a chance next, or if I do get a chance against England, what am I going to do? And he showed up again. Tyke Furlong was class. Stu McCloskey needs a word as well. He was unbelievable today. Who else are we talking about?
One of the great moments was when Pollock decided to have a go at McCloskey late on when the scoreboard was completely gone.
I've never seen Pollock so quiet. You know, that's his first start at 21 years old for England.
And is that only his 21?
I've never seen him so quiet, and that goes down to the performance and the foundation and the edge that Ireland brought to this game. I don't know how Farrell and the coaching staff got them up to that emotional level that we saw today.
It was there, and the emotional level was there definitely. And like you talk about not letting England into the game, they were in our, they were 5 metres out from our line a few times in the first half and a little bit in the second half, and we dug deep, and we got a lot of, not a lot of luck, but like the scraps we talked about against France that we didn't win. We won all of those. We had a few clean catches in the air. We just looked a different team, and no better place to bring it in Twickenham. England away is just pretty special.
It's just, like you said there, the scraps. It's the 50-50s, the scraps. Winning contestable kicks back, which we didn't see in France. And one moment jumps out for me, Joe McCarthy. I think they defended in the first 20 minutes a play from England for 18 phases. They turned the ball over, it was kicked through. It was Joe McCarthy who was leading the lineup. 30-40 metres he ran to lead that lineup, and it's just across the board all day. From minute 1 to minute 80, the hunger, the intent, the togetherness, hunting like a pack of wild dogs.
It's kind of hard to not get carried away with it because it's such a resounding win and such a...
I'm so excited! Sorry, I was generally in comms. I
was waiting for that. Not get carried away with it, but just a resounding fingers up to people and be like, we're still an unbelievable team, which we talked about in the lead up to this game. They have it, and I'm so glad that we've stayed positive, because a lot of people have been kind of losing it a little bit and saying this is Ireland team is done, blah blah blah. They're anything but.
England haven't been beaten here since 2024.
Is that right?
It's nuts.
Right. Okay.
This is the most tries Ireland
and
ever scored. Record points scored.
Yeah, and look, building on this, like Conor just said, building and going forward, because it's probably looked like since that South Africa game in the autumn, where we got dismantled at scrum time by South Africa. But let's remember, Italy got 5 penalties off South Africa in the week before that game. So look, the one concern going forward is still the scrum time. To compete with the likes of South Africa and the Frances, the scrum has to improve and has to be better. But 18 months out from a World Cup, Jeremy Lockman, he's
done really well.
Done really well. Is he third, fourth choice? And,
a lot of pressure on him from the start of this tournament, and he's held his own, and he got involved in play today, and he looked like he's growing, and he'll walk away from this going to Twickenham away, winning so well, and he's going to have some confidence, and that's great for the squad for a World Cup.
One picture that comes into my head, which I loved, it was like the likes of you or Sexto shouting or screaming at one of the forwards. Jeremy Lockman carried the ball, he got hit backwards, he panicked. Instead of just recycling the ball, he gave a forward pass, and Crowley was on him, pointing the finger, telling him off, and I just thought, that's what you want from your 10. That's what the lads would have got from you and Sexton, and that's what the forwards need. And I think you feel for Sam Prendergast watching that back at home.
Yeah, you do.
Phenomenal player. He'll come back, and but Crowley has to have.
Big day for him.
We said today he had the keys. Huge. He was in the driving seat, and he put in a cool, calm, collected performance.
Absolutely.
Take us inside that dressing room, because this time, 2024, very different feeling for you boys.
Yeah, I think you'll go back. You know the feeling. You go back to that.
I'm going to jump the bandwagon here.
Mike,
I got Hamid here once.
You do. Is that it? All right.
I was involved in one. Yeah. Right. Cheers.
Well, explain it then.
I brought it up. So
write this down.
I was going to jump on the bandwagon there, but I shouldn't have.
Because, like you said, I've been hammered here before, and it's a tough place to go. That's why you got to give Jack Crowley kudos, because he came to this kind of cauldron, this type of environment, and he nailed it. He played so well, and again drove the bus really well. So back to the dressing room now, overwhelming sense of relief, I think, for the players. We did it like our backs were against the wall. We came out and we because we were talking about this. Like I wanted them to come out and like have an edge, because in the camp in the lead up to this, I hope they were, and I know they were, like offended by the criticism and everything, kind of everyone saying this team is done, etc. And they came out and said, lads, we're still here. Like, this team is still class.
It's so hard to reach that emotional level like week in, week out though. So yeah. I think the good thing is there's a week's break now. They've played 3 games, but it's hard to, you can't get to that emotional level every week, can you? We saw it last week with Scotland beating England, but that was just like something I've not seen before. Is astounding. They're
probably upset with the week gap now, because they've done that and they're riding high and they feel great and they want to go again next week. But a few sore bodies out there now today with Gary and a couple more, and give them a week to digest this and go through and say, right lads, what made us play that way and that well. And motion definitely 100%, but a lot of their play was way slicker, more accurate in attack. Kicking game was on point. Like it was one of those days, like you talked about, the 50-50s and the scraps. We won all of them. So
the wise old heads proved a point. Some of the young guys proved a point as well. Even the likes of Rob Balakan, who was unreal,
outstanding
on the biggest stage.
Yeah, outstanding. So we've talked about it. People are questioning why this team isn't firing or hasn't been firing well. Like, a lot of old heads who are still there, obviously, and deserve to be there. And then there's a few young lads. Just talk about Rob for a minute, who's finding his feet in the game and finding his feet in this team. And he came to Twickenham and had a few like big moments, and showed people what he's capable of. So those lads that are filtering into this team are finding their feet in this team now. And now, after this big win, I'm not getting carried away, but could be huge for this team.
Where do England go from there?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in comms, pictures coming up on the screen of Borthwick just looked perplexed, scratching his head. The players are going to, talk about spoiling the party. 100 games from Aratoji, storming the castle. Where do England go? I think Borthwick's going to be under a lot of pressure. What was it? 12 games unbeaten they were. Then they lost to Scotland. They've backed that up now with a massive loss to Ireland. Yeah. And the fans are going to be asking questions, because their attack looked disjointed. As I said, one area they're on top of was scrum, and that's down to the way Ireland played, with the intent we've spoken about, the line speed and defence, both sides of the ledger, what they're doing in attack, running hard onto the ball, not static, and it's a big question marks for England going forward, I think.
Yeah. How will Andy be feeling then, with a couple more games to come at home, bit of momentum, week off?
What an opportunity to go back to the Aviva for 2 weeks in a row now, and Wales, Scotland coming up. Like, Wales are in a bit of trouble, but Scotland will be hard at the end. But like, it just paints a completely different picture now. Like, had we lost today, because I was expecting a reaction from England, because they had been on that winning streak, and Scotland was maybe their bogey team, would like to come home to Twickenham and perform. They didn't perform today, and I think Ireland put so much pressure on them when they got the lead. Getting an early lead is really important. We saw it last week against Scotland. It's really hard for them to chase a game, so I think they got to look at themselves that way. If they do go, no team plans for that, but if you do go down early, you got to have some solutions, and they don't seem to have it.
Yeah, we've both, well, not you as many times, we've been there where you have a big loss like that. It's embarrassing, and
I've been there,
because Ireland turned up today and they bullied England on their home patch, and that's going to be a long week in camp next week for England, looking through the footage, looking at them losing the collisions, their work rate, their work ethic. There's going to be, and it happened to Ireland after the France game. Yeah. But I'm scratching my head as to how you can have two first halves, different ends of the spectrum. Ireland against France in round 1, that first half, versus Ireland versus England. Yeah. Round 3. It's just two completely different ends.
I think watching that, and you're correct saying that, but they were so brave. Ireland were brave in the first half. They played from deep. They took opportunities. They didn't exit. They didn't play that game that England probably wanted to play, and they backed themselves. And it worked. So they kept doing it, and eventually it turned into be a pretty good lead. So the bravery, what I saw at the start of the game was we're going to Twickenham. We could easily just go within ourselves and try and manage the game, but they came out and played, and it was really pleasing.
You missed it just before you came. I cannot believe McCloskey chased down Marcus Smith, and what was it, 70 minutes?
We were sitting down, and an English fan jumped up in front of me, so I actually didn't see Stu catch him, but Stu looked really quick on that line break he made as well. He looked really quick. So fair play to Stu.
Agile, hostile, mobile.
Yes.
So Wales now, do they experiment? They probably have to, don't they?
Ireland?
Yeah. Not experiment, but We've seen that the depth is there now.
Yeah.
Do you give guys a go?
Depends. It depends. Like, do you want to ride this momentum and get like Tyke Furlong's back? He's going to play again. You know, Rob Balakoon's going to stay in the way. Like, I don't know how much you can or want to experiment. I think you know, there's a obviously, like we forgot to talk about the injury crisis in Ireland, like with the front rows and Hugo Keenan, etc. Missing Bundy Aki at the minute as well. So I think there's guys there that are taking their chance. Give him more goes and go, because there's those injured guys, those experienced guys to come back in the fold whenever they do come back in the fold. So I don't think you experiment too much. I think you keep going.
Yeah, and you look at the guys who missed out today off back of good performance against Italy. Is a Chukwu, a Dogbu. You know, they'll come in surely and get game time. Jack Conor will be back. He'll get another game. But it's exciting. 18 months out from the World Cup. It's turned from very negative against France.
Our tune has changed
the tune has changed because we're building names on that depth chart.
Yeah, it's crazy that 80 minutes can completely change your feeling about Irish rugby, which is absurd. But hey.
Yeah, but it's 80 minutes. But it's 80 minutes in one of the hardest places to come and play. Like we've been hammered here before, and you know it's a tough place to pick yourself up from afterwards. So it's not just an 80 minutes. It's an 80 minutes in London against a really good England team that we didn't let play, and we played really well. So. Yeah, we're not getting carried away, but we are.
This is a classic example of why the Six Nations is the greatest competition in the world, guys.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. What's the night out going to be like for those boys? Week off as well.
Week off, yeah, and they deserve it because, you know what, like we talked about, they've been under the pump, and the online criticism and the media and everything going against them. They try and stay away from it, but it filters into camp, and you can see it in their reaction. When I was in the corner when the players came over to their families, and they were all just delighted with, like, you know, the relief of that. So go for your life tonight, lads. You deserve it.
Some of the scenes in comms, you know, Farrell, Paulie O'Connell, Sexton couldn't control themselves. You know, when those tries, they were trying to stay calm and collected, but they were up pumping the fists. And great scenes there. Sexton coming down to the touchline, giving the high fives to the players, and they're going to have a cracking night. As are the Ireland legends who won last night as well.
Yeah, steady on.
I'm the water boy.
You're not as young as you used to be. Okay, lads, that's the perspective up there. Great stuff. Be careful. Enjoy yourselves tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Don't go too hard at it.
Yes, 2, 3, 4. Squeeze!
And we'll hear from the players, shall we? Stuart McCloskey. Another special day for Ireland. Can you sum that performance up?
No, it's tough. It's pretty soon after. It was amazing. I heard it was the most points ever scored against England at home. So, what an amazing result! And I don't think anybody probably put us down for that today before the game started. So, amazing.
You had so many special moments. Talk us through the chase down of Marcus Smith.
Yeah, listen. If I'm being honest, I probably was chasing back in hope more than expectation, and just somehow managed to get there. It's happy to help the team out in some way.
Henry Pollock got a word with you. What did they have to say at one point?
I don't know. I was just trying to calm things down. You know me, calm head. I'm old. Like I don't want any scrapping at that time of the game. So he didn't actually say much. I think it was just handbags at dawn.
Take us into that dressing room. What's the mood like in there, and what does it mean?
Yeah, it's pretty positive, isn't it? I think people wrote us off a wee bit after the first 2 rounds. And probably rightly so in some ways, but I think we knew deep down that we had a lot more to give when things went well, or we got our stuff right, and I think we got a lot of stuff right today.
Pretty much 10 years on from your Irish debut here. Is this your best day in a rugby, on a rugby pitch with Ulster and Ireland?
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there. There's a few good days in that Grand Slam here a few years ago when I was playing, but this is probably up there.
Well done. Tommy O'Brien, can you sum up your emotions after that?
We're just saying it's one of the best days. Definitely, I think most enjoyable win of my career. Not easy to win over here. The lads talked about it and how when you do, it's pretty special. And seeing the final whistle there, everyone kind of chanting and stuff, it was incredible.
How did you feel when you get the chance to come on?
Yeah, sometimes that's better. Like I haven't been on the bench in ages, so you just don't get to think about it. So sitting on the bench and watching people is kind of the worst part where you feel helpless. So when you're just thrown into it, it's get on with it, and it's another game of rugby.
What was the key today, do you think, of the win? There were so many good elements.
Some of the guys were incredible. Stu was incredible, Jamo was incredible, Caelan was incredible. I think we just came in and said that we were going to fire into the first 20 minutes, and you could see how up for it guys were winning all the aerial contests, winning scraps on the ground, some really good collisions, and just set the tone. And then from there we just kept it rolling.
Such a change from the first half against France. What do you put it down to?
We were all unbelievably disappointed with France. We know it wasn't at our standards or anything like that. So as a team, personally, I was very disappointed as well. So just to be able to put it right, put on a performance that we know we're capable of today was incredible.
Who's helped you since you've come into this group now? You've probably got a few miles under the clock now, but it's probably a bit daunting at the start.
Yeah, November was probably my first experience of properly being in the group with everyone back from the Lions. So I felt a bit more settled coming in this Six Nations, having a bit of a run of games and whatever else. So everyone in here is so helpful. Everyone's great. Keith Earls came in last week. Kind of had a good chat with him. Kind of opened my eyes to a few things. Obviously, he has over 100 caps for Ireland, so he's an unbelievable base of knowledge to tap into, so that was incredible.
What's Andy Farrell had to say to you in the dressing room?
He just talked about how it's one of the special days, something we always talk about, trying to inspire our nation, and we had people behind us for sure, and maybe that slipped a little bit recently, but those are the days that we think we get everyone behind us.
Wales and Scotland to come. What's possible now, the rest of this championship?
Exactly, yeah. Andy was saying that it's a triple crown to play for, and of course a championship to play for. So we'll control whatever we can, try to put on as good performance as possible, and get as many points as we can.
Word on Rob Balakoon, you boys are on fire.
He's on fire, yeah. He's absolutely flying the cat. So anytime he gets the ball, I'm just running an upfield support line because I think he's going to gas his man and just try to get on the inside of him.
Enjoy the night, top man. Well played.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Congrats.
it. Cheers.
Superstar.
Thank you.